Yeah. So we are coming with a force. Yeah. Blessings we are reaping, we coursing on full. Oh, we not rise and boast. Yeah, we give thanks that we need it the most. We have to give thanks that we really supposed to be thankful. Blessings all for my life and
Happy New Year, everyone. I know I'm mad cheeky in it because it's definitely April. Definitely haven't uploaded a video since October, but we back, sis. I don't know why I feel so anxious to be here this morning recording this video, but I'm doing it against my emotions because I'm big and bad. I'm a brave girl. That's what I am. As you can tell by the title of this video, it's actually about insecurity. So we gonna do this. I gotta learn to practice what I preach. So I've been asking for suggestions from people, and one of the suggestions was insecurity, and another suggestion was making series on topics. So I've kind of merged that together and I've created a series. So this video is kind of just a intro, an insight to insecurity and steps to dealing with it and stuff. But then I have 2 interviews and a Bible study, #devotionswitht, lined up so we can get a deeper insight into insecurity and how to cultivate confidence or confidence in God. So stay tuned for all of that, and without further ado, let's get into this video. So when I was planning what to talk about in this video, of course I was going to talk about insecurity, but I had to literally, when you know something but you still want to Google the definition, I Googled the definitions and I came up with 2 definitions. Well, Google gave me 2 definitions. Do you see the anxiety is showing? It's showing. I'm not even going to edit this out because I'm scared and I don't know why. But we can't do this. So Google gave me 2 definitions. The first one was uncertainty or anxiety about oneself, lack of confidence. And the second one was the state of being open to danger or threat, lack of protection. So when I think about anxiety and how it can present itself, I think there are so many ways that people don't even think about. So we have feelings like pride, envy, jealousy, anger, confusion, resentment, anxiety, all emotions that are commonly rooted within insecurity. Both of those definitions are things I've been feeling, and all of those emotions are things that have been bubbling up in my life. Again, which feeds into why I haven't been creating content and other things. So for each definition in this video, I'm just gonna break down what they mean, how they've actually been present in my life, how they can present themselves in other people's lives, the dangers of giving into them, and steps to start overcoming them. So the first definition I stated was uncertainty or anxiety about oneself. In usual Tanisha Chronicles fashion, I got my laptop because we all know my brain ain't there yet. Remembering things is not my forte. So when we hear of uncertainty or anxiety about oneself, I think this is the most common definition of insecurity that flashes up in people's brains, and the only way I know how to explain it is to explain how it shows up in someone's life. And there's some ways that we don't even think about. So we have procrastination, which you might not even think is insecurity, but the reasons why some people procrastinate is because of the negative emotions around the thing they're procrastinating from. Do they feel secure enough to do the job that they're not doing, or that essay? Is it scaring them? Is it daunting them? Are they fearful of it? Do you know what I mean? You have self-doubt, which I think is very common. You have comparison, hatred for ourselves, which is another one that can be projected onto others. That's another one I don't think people think about. When you're seeing things in other people, why don't you like those things about them? Okay, sure, some people are genuinely people, can't lie, there's some things and traits in myself and others that are a bit but sometimes when I stop and think why I don't like a trait in someone, it's because that trait is in me. But does that make sense? Or it's like, or even it can be something good kind of, and I see it in them, but they're bold enough or confident enough to display that trait or display that thing, where me, I'm scared, I'm shy. Do you know what I mean? So hatred for oneself or insecure about oneself, and you can project that onto another person. Avoidance of experiences, things and people. I'm not sure if I said that already. And then a massive one, Imposter Syndrome. I've got a whole blog post on this that I wrote for Inside Out Wellbeing. And Imposter Syndrome can show up in so many ways. There's perfectionism. There's the Superman or woman wanting literally everything to be done by yourself, doing it all by yourself, saying yes to everything, thinking you're big and bad. No. There's the expert. So you really feel like you have to know everything, otherwise you're failing. There's so many different imposter traits and styles under that one big umbrella. So all of the things I've just listed, by the way, that's not even an infinite list. Like, that's not even what? Wow. Do you see the anxiety is showing? The list is infinite. That's not the end list. Like, there's more. Those are just the examples that I can think of right now. So I'm gonna put it all into a story, just to explain how insecurity can really show up even without you realizing it. So back in October, yeah, your girl moved out. She got a new job, you know.
Party after party.
Yeah, I thought I was big and bad. Like, I finished uni. Like, obviously I've worked before, I've done summer jobs, but now, like, I'm actually starting a career, you know. Like, I'm starting job, like, I'm paying rent. No. Oh, no wonder I'm feeling insecure. Wow, it's scary out here in these streets. But I even moved cities. Like, dang, girl. Amen to the Lord. But like, I've always been insecure about things like my body, my looks, just different things like that. And I think that I took that with me into the workplace, as well as meeting new people, having to start a new job, being away from family and friends, and all of it was just like one big melting pot, and it just triggered a lot. So I was just feeling very, what's the word? Insecure about everything, especially myself, because I was comparing myself at work to people that had been there. Like, when I asked, I've been here for 11 years, I've been here for 4 years. Me, I've just started working there, and I'm thinking, oh, I'm not good enough. These people have experience. Of course, I'm not at their level yet, but I'm thinking, how did I even get my degree? I don't deserve to be here. I remember I even called my mentor. I was like, my mentor from I was like, I'm ready to leave. I'm ready to leave. I can't do this anymore. And she tried to give me a pep talk, and it worked for a minute because I really like words of affirmation. But then I went back to work the next day. I was like, no, I can't do it. And then it led to me starting to say yes to everything. So, Tanisha, can you do this? Tanisha, if you don't mind, can you do this? And I'm like, yeah. By the time I get home, I'm burnt out. I'm tired. I'm like, like, the job itself. So I work in a nursery. So the job itself is physically demanding. But when you're saying yes to doing everything in the beginning, you're gonna feel burnt out. And that can happen sometimes. Sometimes you don't set your boundaries. So my back could be hurting, but I'm not saying anything. I'm gonna be like, yeah, I'll do it. I could be so tired or so anxious but yeah, I'll do it. I could be feeling sick, but yeah, I'll do it. Do you see where I'm going? Like, insecurity can lead you to not set your boundaries, so you're not taking care of yourself. You're trying to people please. But we'll get into that. And then I was just so timid and shy, and that's not me. Like, I'm loud. Like, now at work, I'll be singing, I'll be shouting, I'll be dancing. I'm me at work now. But before, I'm doing, everyone's talking to me, I'm like, yeah, I'm not talking. But do you see what I mean? Like, that wasn't me. And then this started to trickle into other things and other feelings. And my biggest thing was my purpose. I remember I was in a Sabbath school, a Bible study one time, and the question was, oh, what is your purpose? And I sat there and I was like, I used to be so sure of my purpose. I used to be like, yeah, I want to help children with special educational needs. I want to advocate for mental health. I want to get my channel to grow, my blog to grow. And then I was like, no. Like, what? I'm actually supposed to be here. I didn't deserve the job. What makes me think I deserve to do anything else? Do you know what I mean? So it was just a really hard time for me. And because of those feelings, I then started procrastinating. As I said, I haven't made a video since October. And then I hated that about me. And then again, I projected that hate onto others. So I would see others creating content and I start to feel jealous. And because I just didn't want to feel that I'd avoid watching or listening or reading anyone's content, I just kept myself to myself. I was like, no. And it wasn't necessarily that I hated the person or the people or the things. It was the hate I had for myself and the irritation that I had for myself because I just wasn't doing what I really knew that I wanted to do. And then the only person I could blame was me because I wasn't creating anything for people to watch, read, or listen to. So how did I expect people to engage with content? How did I expect to get to where I wanted to go if I'm just sitting there comparing myself? Of course I'm not going to move on. Of course I'm not going to build that security because I'm just coaching, like I'm just whatless. Do you know what I mean? So the dangers in that story and that can present itself from insecurity was, one, the insecurity starting in one area and trickling into other things. So as I said, it started in the work environment, but then it led into my purpose and how I saw myself, where I saw myself in like a couple of years, even the next week, causing me to hurt myself. So not physically necessarily, but avoiding friends' content, not doing what I really wanted to do, and hurt possibly others because when you're, I don't know, not necessarily content, I don't know how to word it, but when you don't like yourself or you're insecure about yourself, you can cause harm to others because of how you feel. As I said, sometimes we as humans we tend to project and we can cause distraction to others. So how do I put that into an example? So by not listening to my friends' content or sharing my friends' content, you know, sometimes they might not feel appreciated or valued or whatever. That their content could be amazing, but I don't know that. I haven't listened, I haven't watched, I haven't read, so I'm not sharing. Do you know what I mean? Because of the jealousy, and that's supposed to be my friend, and I can't even support my friend. Yeah, great. No. Then you have the not living up to your potential, your calling, your destiny. You're getting lost because of that feeling like you could be so much more than what you are, where you are, what you're doing, what you're thinking. But because you're stuck in that bubble of insecurity and you're not even trying to deal with it, instead you're avoiding, you're not getting anywhere. Changing yourself, losing yourself, or diminishing yourself. So I know sometimes when you feel insecure, you might think, oh, if I just change this about me, maybe I might build up again. Or if I just change this about me, or if I could change this about me. And then, you know what I mean? Like, you feel you have a false sense of security because you're not yourself. You're someone else. You're an imposter at that point. So you've lost yourself. You've lost your identity. And you're diminishing your worth because you're saying that who you originally were, who you're called to be, just isn't good enough. Finding yourself in unhappy situations, like you're just staying stagnant. As I said, like in the story, I was allowing how I felt to not let me put boundaries up. And when from the time you don't put up boundaries for yourself, you will find yourself in miserable situations. You'll find yourself being burnt out. You'll find yourself being sad, anxious, lonely. And a big thing about insecurity is that it can cause emotional insecurity. So this can cause you to be controlling, codependent, narcissistic, abusive, egotistical. These are just things like that we want to avoid. That's why it's so important to nip it in the bud. Yeah, so that's the first definition. Second one. So the second definition, as I said, the state of being open to danger or threat. So this can be a literal danger or a literal threat. Like I was in my kitchen just now and I saw a spider. To me, that's a danger and a threat. I don't do spiders. Or, you know, I don't know, like you see a snake or something, like a real danger. But then it could also be a perceived danger or threat. So things you wouldn't necessarily label danger or threat, but they still create that feeling of insecurity. So a few examples could be being in a vulnerable situation. So having to open up, express yourself, meet new people, new relationships, having to trust someone can scream danger to someone. It can scream danger to me. Financial insecurity. So you're looking for a job or you've lost a job, you find yourself in debt, you don't know how you're going to pay next month's bills. Do you know what I mean? Social insecurity. How do I explain this one? So I think that kind of relates to the vulnerability one, being in social situations, having to meet people and things like that. And then insecurity, so the perceived threat, which can be fear of failure or rejection, that in itself can be a threat or a fear that people have that creates insecurity. So again, I don't really know how to, I'm going to put it into a story again. So my biggest danger or threat would probably be vulnerability. Actually, no, I was going to do vulnerability, but I feel like financial insecurity would make more sense. So financial insecurity. So coming to the end of my post-grad, obviously I've been saving up my bursary throughout my post-grad, especially when it got to February, because obviously you're hearing about COVID and you're hearing about things like that. And then we finally got into lockdown, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, we're in lockdown. I'm probably not going to get a job now when I finish my degree. Let me save my bursary. I'm still living at home, but the problem with me is I love to be independent. I hate asking people for things. I feel like a burden. I didn't want to be a burden on my parents. I just wanted to have that independence and be me, pay for my own things, do what I want to do, go see friends if I have to, go on holiday if I have to, buy this if I want it, buy that if I want it. I don't want to have to ask, can you buy it for me? Do you know what I mean? So I was saving up my bursary, and then what happened? Oh yeah, so obviously restrictions started lifting. So I was going out or whatever, and I'm thinking, Tisha, you really shouldn't be spending this money. You should be saving it. Like, so it's okay to say no to going places, but I didn't want to say no, and I didn't want people to be like, oh, I'll pay for you, and then that ended up happening sometimes, and I hate it. And I didn't like, it's the pride, those feelings that I mentioned before. Pride was there. Like, so I was going out. I'm not telling people how do I have money. I'm not telling people, like, I had money and it was enough, but I knew eventually the money would run out, and I didn't know when I was getting a job. Do you know what I mean? Especially in this pandemic. So I was like, oh. Anywho, I got my last bursary amount just after my postgrad ended, because it ended a bit earlier because I was lockdown. And then so I budgeted it, I calculated it, and I was like, but I still need to get a job. I need to get a job just before it goes out. And I'm feeling like, like, am I gonna get a job? As I said, I like to be independent. What if I don't get a job? I'm gonna have to ask my parents for money. All these things just kept circling in my head, and I was like, I can't do this. Like, I can't do this. And it was genuinely my pride. Like, it really was. And I felt physically sick, and I still feel physically sick if I have to ask people for help or something, because I just no. So I got to a point, yeah. Please don't judge me. So I got to a point where the money was running out. You know the website where you do like tasks online and stuff to get money? I did that. That's how desperate. I forgot what I needed to pay. I think it was my phone insurance. Yeah, I needed to pay phone insurance, and I needed to pay another direct debit, and I was like, no, I need quick money, quick time. It's not a big amount, so let me do it. So I remember one evening I sat there and done all the tasks I possibly could, yeah, just to pay those things. And then I cashed out and I said yes, when simply I really could have just asked my dad. Oh my gosh, that's how bad my pride got, guys. I was doing things that I don't think I would ever do in my life. But then eventually, I just had to drop my pride and ask my dad to pay my phone bill, ask him to pay this for me, ask for money for this, ask for money for travel, because I was suffering. But then God blessed me with a job. So the dangers from that story, I think, when it comes to failure, is pride, being afraid to be vulnerable, so you're not getting the help that you need. Like, I didn't need to go through all of that. I really could have just said that, can I have some money, please? Mom, can I have some money, please? Brother, can I have some money, please? Someone can I have some money, please? And people would have been willing to help, because again, people would have understood the situation. I was overthinking and doing impulsive things, which dug deeper holes. So overthinking about what people are going to think if I don't show up to this event, or if I don't go see them and I tell them, I can't come see you because I don't have money. And I don't really like lying like that. So I wasn't going to be like, oh no, sorry, I'm busy. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just, no. Because where was I really busy? in the pandemic. Come on. So it was like, I just, no. And then I was digging myself into deeper holes by continuing to go to these events. And when I had no money, where am I going? Like, I had money, I was like, but the money was eventually going to run out. So I had no business spending the money that I had. And then I was creating a false image. You see it all the time in movies and stuff, like a man just lost his job, but he's still acting big and bad, he's still going to fancy restaurants, he's still driving his fancy car, he's not telling his friends he lost the job, he's not even telling his wife and kids, whatever. You even see it in day-to-day life. You know, sometimes I used to get scared when I heard that there's people that lose money, so they just kill off all their family, then they kill themselves. Like, this is real life. This is because of insecurity. Do you know what I mean? So that's why you really got a insecurity in them. So I'm not really sure if this video has gone how I wanted it to actually go, imagine in my head, because I've just been waffling. But the interviews and the Bible study will be way better than this, I promise. This is just my little intro, and anxiety's got me. But the title of this video is When Insecurity Whispers, Shout Back. So when you start to notice these feelings, actions, impulses, thoughts, and moods, you literally have to act. Like, you've got to scream back. Forget shout, scream, wrestle with them. That means, 1, don't just be aware of the emotion, but be conscious of what these emotions are really masking, what is triggering them. Being open and honest with yourself, holding yourself accountable, being vulnerable, facing those situations that scare you, stepping out of your comfort zone. The thing I talk about the most on the channel, obviously, reframing your mindset. And I think I said this to my friend the other day, one of the most beautiful things about our minds is that they can transform. As in, the more you think about something, the more you can create that new neural pathway, so then it just becomes instinct. So reframing the way you think about situations, your feelings, because talking about these feelings, and as you're going to see from the interviews, being insecure and things like it's actually normal. Like, it happens, it's everyday life. It's just about how you deal with it, how you think about it, how you frame it, and the steps you take going on from it, and how you, if you act on it or not. And a massive thing, ask for help, whether it be talking to friends, experts, whatever, people in the same field. So even when I was struggling with content creating, I remember I reached out to numerous content creators, even people I don't know like that. I was reaching out to content creators off of Twitter in their DMs, asking them, like, how do they deal with insecurity, comparison? Does that affect the way that, does it affect their love for creating content, etc., etc. So listen, as I said, this was just an intro. I hope someone got at least one thing I said from this video, even if it was just a laugh at me, because I feel like a massive clown. But I'm gonna post the video anyway. As I said, please stay tuned, because the interviews are so powerful. Like, the people I spoke to, God bless them, honestly. So you don't have to wait long, because I've already recorded them and edited them, so they will be out in the following weeks. So yeah, stay tuned. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.
Go on with it, go on with it. Yeah.